My name is Troy Wheeler, and I'm from the Mackinac Australia Butchery team.
And my name is Justin Wade, and I'm from the Icon Pack Young Australian Butcher team.
Today we are going to make a traditional porchetta from pork belly. So I'm going to start by preparing the ingredients, and then from there we'll move on to Justin, who will then prepare the pork belly to be rolled and then made into the porchetta.
I'm going to highlight some techniques today and some different knives. So I'm going to do some slicing, some peeling, some cheffinating, and plenty of bone into the meat.
So just starting off, we're going to prepare by peeling the garlic. So just using like a little paring knife and removing all the skin.
Good size, that one.
Good size paring knife, yep. From there, we'll move on and prepare the lemon and the chili. We've also got some toasted fennel seeds, some pepper and some salt.
Why is it important to remove the skin?
Well, the skin doesn't cook up that well on the inside of the pork belly. If you're going to roast the garlic in a roasting tray, you could probably leave the skin on, which will help protect the garlic cloves a little bit and help them become nice and sweet, and that sharp heat from the garlic will cook away and become delicious and sweet.
I think using fresh garlic for the porchetta as well is great for the flavour. It's nice and sweet rather than the minced garlic you can buy.
Yeah, definitely. You get that beautiful sweetness instead of that high heat you get from some of that processed garlic. So fresh garlic is definitely important.
Are you going to slice that or mince that?
I'm just going to crush the cloves and then sort of roughly chop it. When we distribute it through the pork belly, you'll see that once we roll it up, it gets evenly distributed throughout the belly. So from here, we're just going to use the side of the knife just to crush the cloves. And then just running the knife across them, just to roughly chop it, break it down into smaller pieces. Doesn't have to be too fine, because we want, once it's distributed through the pork belly, you're going to get those little pops of garlic once you've roasted up that porchetta, just to get a nice little hit in each mouthful.
I think having a good kitchen knife really helps with this.
Yeah, definitely. Like the chef's knife here with that heel and the curvature of the chef's knife really helps with doing the mincing and dicing and slicing of these vegetables, and definitely getting the right the texture and cut with the garlic or the porchetta. So once we've got it minced up there, what we're going to do is just put it into a bowl and set it aside while we prepare the rest of the ingredients.
I think everyone also has their different ingredients they put in porchettas. Some people add sage, but I think this combination works probably the best.
Yeah, this is the combination that I think works best for the one we like to make. So next, what we're going to put in to prepare for our ingredients is lemon. So we're just using these speed peelers here, which are perfect for de-rinding the lemon. It removes the skin of the lemon without removing the white, which is the pith, which is something we don't want to use. It becomes a little bit bitter. So the peeler is perfect for easily removing all of the skin and leaving all that pith on the lemon. As you can see, it just easily comes away. It's working around the outside of the lemon to remove the skin. We're going to use the whole lemon, the zest from the whole lemon, and we reserve that lemon, the whole bit of lemon we can use for something a bit later. Whether you slice it and dehydrate it and use it for a garnish for a cocktail, or even just the juice as a part of something else.
What's this technique you're doing now?
So what I'm doing here is what they call julienne. So it's just thin slices of the lemon. I find this is the best way to prepare it for the porchetta instead of using a zester, which is also fine. But these small threads is really great. So once it's inside the pork belly, you get that nice little pop of lemon throughout. It gives you a good distribution. So just carefully, thinly slicing it, nice and thin.
Do you use some like preserved lemon or anything like that in the pork belly?
Yeah, definitely. Like preserved lemon's really delicious. You could even use like orange if you liked. Orange and fennel is a great combination. Lemon and parsley is what we're looking for. The combination of the parsley and the chili and the lemon. The lemon also helps like counterbalance the heat from the chili we're also putting in. That little bit of acid. It's also great because the pork belly is really rich.
Not cut through the fattiness.
Cut through the fattiness. So a little bit of acid is also really good. Once we've prepared all that lemons into the thin juliennes, we'll just kind of set them aside until while we prepare the last ingredient. The last ingredient here is chili. So we're just going to, again, use this small paring knife just to remove the stems and seeds. So I'm just chopping off the top part of the chili here.
I suppose if you wanted a little bit spicy, you could leave the seeds in.
Yeah, if you wanted a little bit of extra heat, you could leave the seeds in. We're going to remove them because we're just looking for that mild heat, not too spicy.
More kid-friendly option.
Kid-friendly. Then just running the knife on the inside, removing those seeds.
That knife looks like it's gliding through those chilies.
Yeah, the Victorinox like little paring knife, they're beautifully sharp and just glides straight through, and it's really easy for doing this preparation. Chilies can be a little bit spicy and a little harmful on your hands and get a bit spicy in your eyes. So like having this beautiful sharp little paring knife just makes the job so much easier.
It's such a versatile size for the kitchen as well.
Yeah, it's great for anything like, obviously if you're peeling, slicing, doing stuff like this. It's really great.
I guess once you take the seeds out, are you going to switch back to the kitchen knife or are we going to cut it with your knife?
Yeah, so once I've de-seeded here and taken a bit of these stems out, I'm going to change back to the larger kitchen knife, the chef's knife. And again, I'll slice them thinly and julienne them, similar to what we've done for the lemon, for the same reason, so that we get a nice little even distribution of that chili and the lemon, so that all those flavors are balanced and well-rounded. Once we've removed the seeds here, just going to flip them away. Then we're just going to start by putting the skin side up. It's easier to, when you're slicing through, just to come across to that tough skin first.
Doesn't look too tough with that blade slicer through it.
Beautifully sharp, really easy. Again, like the style of the knife is perfect for all this preparation. Just makes the job so much easier. And the key to having a sharp knife in your kitchen is so important. Having a sharp knife just makes the job so much easier, and it's much safer for you too.
Yeah, I like that. And not pushing as hard, or struggling to cut it, and so just having the right tools for the job is definitely welcome it.
Definitely.
And plus, those rotary handle knives are a bit of a kitchen showstopper for your friends and family.
Yeah, definitely. They look great in the kitchen, and they present really well up on your kitchen bench, and they're a great thing to have as a showpiece in your kitchen, as well as a versatile tool. So now we've prepared those ingredients. We're going to set these here and set this aside. And Justin's going to move on and prepare the pork belly, and then we'll add all those ingredients in. So now to prepare the hero of the dish, being the porchetta, Justin's going to now start preparing the pork belly, so that we can then roll it up into the porchetta. So just going to start with, he's got a Victorinox boning knife, 6-inch boning knife, swayback. The swayback means like this nice curvature at the end there. It's perfect for boning out pork belly or boning out in general. And we think this is the best tool for the job. So he's just starting by moving at the end of the bones at the breast part of the pork belly. So he's just folding back the inside meat there just to expose the cartilage and stuff that sits underneath the meat. So you can see he's identified it. And now moving to the end of the rib bones, so just cutting against the bone and up underneath to remove that rib cage. And you can see that we're taking nice long strokes. We're not sort of doing short little strokes. It's important to use the full blade of the knife and cutting all the way through to the end, and removing that rib bone in a nice full piece. So you can see as he's got to the end, sort of easily pulls away once he's gone to the end of that rib bone. And we just pull that away and we set it aside. These ribs are great. You can use them for barbecue. You can use them for any type of other dish. So you set them aside and you can use them for another dish later on. Also great for like soups and stocks and broths.
This Victorinox knife though, like does such a good job, like effortless through the rib meat there. You could obviously leave a little bit more on if you were doing barbecues, but we want as much meat as we can on here.
Yeah. So from here, what you do is you probably remove the front side. There's a little bit of like thick fat and also some little nipples on the pork belly. So we remove those first. Again, we set that aside. It can be used for trimming, to make sausages and burgers and things like that, or even minced for a bolognese. And so from here, Justin's going to cut through directly through the middle of the pork belly. Again, using that same technique of using the full blade of the knife. We're going to butterfly it open, so we'll have one side of the skin exposed on one side, and then we have the skin and fat on the other side. So what we're looking to do is create that really nice big flat surface that will season with all those ingredients that we've prepared. As you can see, that beautiful sharp boning knife effortlessly cutting through the middle to butterfly open that pork belly.
Gives it a lot of control. Like, using a bigger knife, you might potentially slash open the skin, or but that's like a pretty decent butterfly on that. Nice and even. Might just give the skin a quick score over here.
Yeah. So scoring the skin is important for getting that really delicious, crispy crackling. It helps bring out all of the render the fat out and dry the skin out during the cooking process. It gives you that really crispy crackling. So we do that in the first stage, because once we've rolled the pork belly up, you'll have all the strings around there. So it's just easier to do it now before you've trussed it up later, so we don't cut any of those strings that we've rolled it up.
So just going to finish scoring this, then we'll lay it out, skin side away from us, and down the board. I'm going to season it up.
Yeah, so we're laying the skin side down, and we're laying the skin side away from us. So what that means is that when we roll it up, the skin is going to wrap all the way around the roast. So the first thing we start with is seasoning with some salt. So we just evenly broadcast the salt across the whole face of that pork belly. And then from here, we're going to start with some cracked black pepper. Having the two types of pepper is good. You've got that the earthiness of that black pepper, and then that fruity floral heat from the chilies. We think is a great combination. From here, we're going to put some toasted fennel seeds. That little bit of anise flavor and a bit of sweetness.
I think toasting them really brings up flavouring in as well.
Yeah, like the toasted bit of fennel is also really delicious. So from here, we're going to put down our garlic that we've prepared. Done. And then from the garlic, we'll put into our lemon zest. And from the lemon zest, we'll put in our fresh chili. And the last ingredient we're going to use is some fresh parsley. So you could chop the parsley up into some fine diced parsley. I also kind of like it just picking away the broad leaves. Also, it is great and sort of saves a bit of time chopping away some parsley. It also helps give you that nice nice even distribution of the parsley. And because the way you cook your pork belly, being 3 to 4 hours at a really slow temperature, it breaks down that parsley and like helps incorporate in there really nicely. So I think we've got enough here. A few extra bits.
Good. I'm going to start rolling it up nice and tight like a pinwheel. Essentially, we want to try and get all the meat inside the skin to protect it while it's cooking. We'll have a little gap at the bottom that we'll truss it up with some nice twine.
And so what rolling it up does is you'll see it helps like distribute all of those ingredients throughout that whole roll. So you'll get like every bite will have a nice little piece of each one of those ingredients along with the delicious pork. So just starting in the center, why we start in the center is that we need to make sure that we've fixed the roast into place, and then we'll work at either end and like making a knot and tightening it so it becomes a nice even roast. That's
one of the important things, cooking at home or buying from your butcher is making sure it's even, because if it's even, it's going to cook even. You get consistent results.
Again, using the Victorinox boning knife just to slice away the twine. You can also use a good pair of scissors, which are really great just to cut off that end. We're just using the boning knife that we've used to prepare the pork, just to cut off that extra string. So talk us through the style of knot you're using, Justin.
So I'm just using a classic butcher's knot. Essentially, there is many ways to do a butcher's knot, and this is my technique. So I've been doing this one since I was an apprentice. I just find it's the most efficient way and also tightest way to keep a piece of meat together. So I'll quickly talk through that. Underneath the meat, over the top, wrap around the string, over the rope twice, back through the hole, and pull it tight. And then I just lock it off with a little half hitch at the end. Like so.
Now the way we use these types of knots in a butcher shop setting is that when we prepare these types of roasts for our customers, often we prepare them in large pieces that then can be portioned down for whatever the customer is looking for or how many people the customer might be feeding. So a nice big porchetta roast like this is probably like 2.5 to 3 kilos. So you're going to feed probably like 6 to 8 people with something like this. So if you're a family of 2 or 3, we'll be able to cut this roast down to an appropriate size to feed your family. So we do an individual string or a knot, so that we can then portion it up and it leaves another product that's appropriate for someone else. There's a few other techniques you can use, like you can do some cage rolling where you might do a continuous string. Something like that technique is used commonly in restaurants where they're cooking a whole portion that might be for one particular dish, and once you've cooked protein, you can then just remove that one piece of string, so it's just a little easier. This technique is what we use commonly in butcher shops, so that we can portion it up appropriately.
If you're doing a full loin, you can always use a stitching technique as well, but you might need a professional to do that.
Yeah.
But any YouTube videos or this video will help you with these butcher's knots.
Yeah. It's also okay if you're not confident in doing these types of knots, just making sure that it's tight and is fixed securely, and you can see how it's sort of bring the roast in together and it's got nice and tight. So just a couple of regular knots will also do the trick, and it'll help bring it into shape. So it's not imperative that you use these types of knots, but they're effective for what we do. And then you can use other knots that might be familiar to you.
So I'm just going to use a slightly bigger butcher's knife here, or a breaking knife, just to get a nice even cut through the porchetta here, so we can, nice and clean and show the people what we've made. So nice and forward motion onto the block, one pull back, glide right through it.
So there we have it. We have the rolled pork belly porchetta with fresh chili, garlic, lemon zest, parsley, fennel, and salt and pepper.